All right, good day, everybody. So, today I am getting ready to get started with my day, but I wanted to come on here and talk first to you about, something that has been on my spirit for quite some time. And so I wanted to talk about spirituality in itself, all right? I don't know what the topic of this video is going to be. I'm just going to get all my thoughts off and then boom, then I'll think of a topic later. But I wanted to talk about spirituality, and the reason why I want to talk about spirituality is because, I feel a lot of things surrounding it. I see a lot of things while being in this world, and so I wanted to talk about it because I feel like, no one knows all knowledge. Some may possess a great deal of it, but no one knows all knowledge. And most of the knowledge that you gain is going to be the knowledge that your guides and your team and your God source is going to give you, right? But no one knows all knowledge, all right? And how you come about the knowledge that you do know is your God source or your guides and everything. They lead you to the knowledge that you're supposed to get at that time. Okay, because we have a lot of people that, now I like to say, I make a joke about it. It's not the right terms, but it's, I like to call it I say PopUp Spiritualist. And what I mean by the PopUp Spiritualist, and it's not a derogatory thing, it's just the day one spiritualist that jumps out there ill prepared and ready to teach. This is day one. You don't have the experience or the knowledge as of yet to teach. But I also don't like for those type of spiritualists to be torn down by, the people that they look up to as well. Because I see a lot of people, they get above themselves and they talk down on those spiritualists instead of educating them. And so I do have a problem with that too as well. I feel like with this type of knowledge, with this type of world, everything is a teaching moment. Everything is a teachable moment. And whether it be someone that's new and trying to dabble in stuff that, they don't understand quite yet, that'd be an opportunity for an elder to come in and say, hey, let me talk to you. The reason why you don't possess this skill yet is because of X, Y, and Z. But not to tear down, because that's a lot of people come over to this walk of life because they got church hurt. They don't like the judgment when it comes to particular religions. And so they come to this life because this life is more free. All right. This life feels more abundant. This life feels more inclusive, more collective. There's not much of a hierarchy in this life. But, there is. Right. There are unforeseen hierarchies that we do have, and so you don't want to jump into certain work too soon or prepare, because you may not be prepared for what certain spirits that you encounter, have to offer you, or you may not be prepared for the energy that certain spirits hold, which is why there are levels to spirituality. Okay. And what I mean by that, some people are more mystic. They like dibbling with their root works. They like doing conjuring and all of that stuff. They want to deal with certain types of magics. And in order to deal with certain types of magic, you have to go through certain types of deities to do this certain type of magic. However, if you're not strong enough and if you're ill prepared, what could happen is you might encounter an energy that is more powerful than you, and you won't be able to handle the energy that deity is giving off. And it may cause, issues. It may have, some may even go mad because they're not ready for that. Or if you want to enter into the mediumship realm, when you're working as a medium, you get certain things at a certain time, but you have to be cautious when you're encountering certain spirits, because some spirits are older. Some in the spirit world are older, much stronger. and they may take control. All right. So especially if you're vibrating at a low frequency and you're eating low frequency foods and you're doing low frequency activity all the time and not doing activity that connects you with the frequency, with the higher vibrational frequencies or the frequency of the universe or the God frequency and things like that, you might be moving too soon. But that still doesn't give anyone the right to tear you down as well. All right. But you don't want to be so woke either that when someone comes to you or they're observing you, because a lot of times people just observing you, right? And they're just seeing how you move. They're looking at your skills. They're seeing how you move. They're seeing how you interact with people. And so you don't want to be so damn woke that you make a comment or you say some things or you respond to some things without getting the cultural context of what you're responding to and turn a person off from working with you. All right, because you really don't know how long a person been doing spiritual work until you know how long. And you know how long by doing your discernment on the situation, by divining over the situation. That's how you can tell. For example, I would say that if you ask me like how long I've been a part of the occult type of spirituality, the mystic type of spirituality, I would say since I met my husband, that was the activation point. That's what I would say. But when I was a child, I had prophetic visions and the church knew it. In the church, I'm a child. I was in the church. I'm 35 now, y'all. So I'm talking about 7 is when I first seen a spirit. 15 is when I first started speaking what I was seeing, which is when, if y'all look at a later video, why I left the church and how they exercised me and all that, that's a whole nother story. And so 15 is when I stepped into my mediumship, but I didn't know what it was. I called it premonitions, which some of you may know. I called it prophetic dreams and visions, which some of you may know. I would be in the church praying and laying hands over the people, which some in this world calls Reiki, right? So I've been in this practice, you could say, since I was a child. I've been giving offerings. I was giving offerings to Jesus when I was in the church. And now that I'm outside of the church, I give the offerings to my ancestors and certain deities and pantheons that I work with. You see what I'm saying? So, but you don't know until you know it. And so your job would be to educate the individuals on, what they did in their particular religion translates over here, if anything at all. And that's how you know. So you can't bash somebody that say, you know what, I want to just break the chains and take the blinders off and just say, I'm not going to just, rock with Allah. I'm not going to just rock with Jesus. I'm not going to just walk with Mary. I'm going to look into Shango. I'm going to look into Oshun, some of the more popular ones. I'm going to look into Oya. I'm going to look into Voodoo. I'm going to look into Hoodoo, some things like that. So you can't just knock them. You just got to educate them on how these things translate. Because if you ask me now, based on, we're talking about over the years. Now, if you ask me now how long I've been a part of this, I would tell you since I was a child, versus what my usual response would have been is with the activation point of my husband. You see what I'm saying? So my usual response would have been 6-7 years, and now my response would be since I was a child, or I would say knowingly 15, which gives me 20 years of being able to pull these visions and do divination and all this stuff, right? So yeah, so that's what this is one of them videos. It's just like some things that I see and how I feel we could move forward, because you don't want to be so damn woke that you turn people off, because some people are woke or too woke And what I mean by too woke is like they borderline crazy. All right, you borderline crazy. Ain't no spirit in your view. Spirit ain't telling you none of that. It's a mix with your ego and some downloads that you're getting, but it's not coming from a high vibrational frequency. Because if it was, then there would be a different approach to what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I feel like. Don't be so woke that you are turning people that are watching you off. You know, take these moments and use them as educational moments, you know. And so for you newer people that are coming now into your gifts, that are coming now into your power, that are experiencing this awakening, that are trying to figure it all out, understand that a lot of times people are not trying to hold information from you. Now, there are some people out there that don't want to give you no information, nothing of substance, because they want to keep you on the payroll. But just understand that sometimes you don't get certain information because it's a feeling of you may not be prepared to handle that, or you may not be ready for it. And you have to learn certain things before you even move to the next step. Because I'm telling you, if you move too soon in this, you're going to mess yourself up. You're going to mess yourself up. Some of you may get scared. I know a lot of people that was doing this work. They was doing this work for years, okay? They were doing this work for years, but because they didn't know what spirits look like when they show up in your house or in your face, or you sitting down and they just walk past you. They didn't know what that looked like, but they was working hard to get that gift. They weren't ready for it. And that moment that they started doing their little magical stuff to be able to see that stuff, they went back to whatever way of life that they came from, because they was like, oh, heck no, Jesus is the way, Jesus is this, Jesus is that, you know. And I'm going to tell y'all something. When you're dealing with this work right here, there are certain modalities out there that are way more powerful than Jesus or Mary or any of these new age religions out here. All right, so you have to be cautious of that, because you could literally be calling on Jesus for alcohol, or you could be calling on Jesus for somebody else, somebody or somebody like that. And guess what? It ain't gonna work, because they stronger than him, because they've been around. They've been around since the first animism, so they are more powerful than any of these new age deities that are out there. Okay, so it ain't gonna work. So you can call all day, and it's not gonna happen. And so that's what we're talking about. That's what some of the spiritual teachers, educators, mentors, whatever you want to call them, coaches, whatever you want to call them. That's why it feels like they're spoon feeding you information. But if you get too much too soon, you will go mad. You will lose your mind. Things will just start surfacing. You'll be having like mental health issues, anxiety, cravings that you don't understand. Just things happening in your life that you don't understand. You'll be calling things into your household that you do not understand. Some people may already be in a unrequited relationship, or a marriage or a relationship that's just hanging on by a thread, and you invite one of these spirits in your house on your altar, and you don't know what's going on in your house, and now your house went from bad to worse. And it gets crazy like that. And so that's what a lot of them be talking about. It's like you just gotta kind of like know, you gotta take your time and be patient with this process. All right, because even when it goes to putting up altars and things like that, I advise that you work with your ancestors before you go trying to get a Oshun, because Beyonce said so, or Oya, and calling yourself the daughter of these people. Do you know what it takes for you to be the daughter of Oshun or Oya? It takes a lot to be the daughters of those. Do you know what it takes to be the child of Legba? You don't know what it takes. You don't know what it takes. There are certain levels of commitment that comes with that. All right. So that's why I may feel like some of y'all may feel like, oh, they trying to keep stuff from me. They ain't trying to keep that from you. A lot of them got good intentions out there. A lot of them have good intentions out there. A lot of them just don't want you to take on more than you can handle. I remember working with my previous mentor and working with my mentor now, because my mentor now, like, she is like, y'all, I can't say her name. I said her name last time somebody struck my video, so I ain't gonna say her name this time. But listen, she, even with the level that I am now, how she even breaks it down and how we even go about these is like mind blowing to me. Even sometimes when I sit in my power and I connect with certain spirits, I can tell like why you have to learn grounding techniques and breathing techniques, like all this stuff that I was spoon fed over the years. You know what I'm saying? Now I get it. Now I'm like, oh, this is why you had to learn this, because sometimes when I was coming in contact with one spirit, it was an older spirit, like a really old spirit. Like I ain't gonna say which spirit it was, but it was a really old spirit that had been, here for centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries, like since the beginning of time, right? And when I came in contact with this spirit, my heart started racing really fast, and I felt like I was getting anxiety. And what I had to do, I had to go back to the beginning. Going back to the beginning meant doing my breathing technique, even some of them fire breathing technique. Because listen, I was doing the cleansing breath, like, just coming on down, right? But I had to do some deep cleansing. I had to do the fire breathing and all that stuff. Like, that's how serious it had got, And so that's why I want y'all to understand. So just on this journey, like, take your time. And on this journey, also, for you ones that been in it for a while, maybe 3 to 5, 10, 15 years, whatever, however you want to look at it. Don't be so critical of those people, because you were once them people. Don't be acting like you so woke. Cause some of y'all already know how this game works. If spirit see your ego more than they see your heart, it'll just be like you ain't have no power. They didn't allow you to borrow their power in the first place. Cause the power is even borrowed. It's not even ours. They allow us to access it, and they could take it away from us just like that. And then you will see, that's when you see them spiritualists that out here moving off of intellectual property and saying spirit said something and they didn't. I'm just saying. So that's pretty much it, y'all. This one of them, videos where I just had to get that off my chest, because we get things messed up for real. And then like we be acting like it's our power. It's not our power, yo. We borrowing it. We on borrowed power. And if spirit want to, they can take that thing from you just like that. So that's pretty much it. Listen, if y'all want more conversation like this, y'all meet me on Patreon, where we talk about all things spiritual. Also, if you're interested in intuitive readings or joining a connection, you can also meet me on my website. All of the information is in the description below, and I'll holler at you.